The Mount Rogers area in southwest Virginia is a wonderful area with high grassy meadows, granite rock outcrops, and forest. And the Sierra Club having agreed that we could restart outings after COVID-19, I led a backpack trip up there overnight. This is our group, me on the left, then Lisa, Tommy, and Russ.
Well, I'm in Grayson Highland State Park, hiking into the Mount Rogers National Recreation Area's Crest Zone for a overnight backpack with friends Tommy, Lisa, and Russ. And we got started a little before 12 noon, and pretty good weather. It's going to be somewhere in the 70s, probably upper 70s maybe. A lot of fog driving up from Knoxville. Couldn't see any of the mountains hardly to the east. And it's now a little overcast and cloudy, but there's some blue sky. The only problem is it's going to rain probably tonight and tomorrow morning when we'll be hiking out. So we're going in on the spur trail up the Appalachian Trail, then follow it south to the Springs Trail, and then Springs Trail to a campsite. And right now I've left the woods and am in one of the classic open areas, grassy with some trees and bushes that the Mount Rogers Crest Zone is famous for. We're doing around 3 miles probably today.
Here's a GPS track of our route, starting at Grayson Highland State Park at the bottom center, going to our campsite below Wilburn Ridge at the top center.
Here I'm reaching the top of the eastern end of Wilburn Ridge. We're going to camp below the western end of it. It makes a kind of an L shape. So we will be turning to the left just out there on the Appalachian Trail. And there's the sign for the Appalachian Trail. And there's the rest of our group waiting on me. Heading on south on the AT it is. I'm standing on Wilburn Ridge toward the east end. Massey Gap where we started is off to the left, and the main access trail up from Massey Gap to the AT is, you can see it in the distance there after it reaches the AT. And then the AT and a horse trail continue over that way. And right up in there, there's a fence to keep the horses in, ponies in. And then the AT goes up and over Wilburn Ridge, which is that big ridge there, to Rhododendron Gap way on the other side. And then Pine Mountain, the old AT, where it used to go, runs along Pine Mountain there to Scales, which is way out there. And then Stone Mountain, wonderful grassy balls there. And everything in between here is the Crest Zone of the Mount Rogers National Recreation Area. Wonderful area. And we're going to be camping down below Wilburn Ridge, the north end there. See if I can locate where we're going to be. Somewhere in there. Not totally sure, but somewhere in that area there, I think. Lisa, Tommy, and Russ have gone on. They're following the AT and then going to turn off toward the campsite over there. And I'm slowly catching up with them. And we're all going to do some day hikes, maybe different places afterward. And I just noticed some blue over there. Right there. So somebody's camped over there. Haven't seen a lot of people, but a few, mainly day hikers. Well, over there is the east end of Wilburn Ridge. That's where we were before we came up on the other side of the left point there. And we went around that way. And here I'm on the Virginia Highlands Horse Trail. The Appalachian Trail is right up there in the woods, so this is a little of a shortcut. Big U, and then up there is Wilburn Ridge, the west end, and we'll be camping off to the right of it somewhere. I've never seen so few ponies up here. This is the gate through the fence that separates the ponies from the area beyond, and only 2 of them. Usually there are a dozen or more. I think the little one's just taking a nap. Are the tents I saw in the earlier video from the east end of Wilburn Ridge, and some bighorn, longhorn cows that are kept here to try to keep the balls open. There's East Wilburn Ridge that we came up. Over there's the gap that you usually come up from, Massey Gap. And we finally, after some struggling and miscommunication, found a pretty good campsite. Only negative is it's a quarter of a mile from the water. But there's Russ's tent on the left, I think then Lisa, and then Tommy maybe. And then on around, all of this is below Wilburn Ridge West. There's my tent.
After we got our tents up, we continued on down the trail, what turned out to be about 2/10 of a mile to a small creek for water. And then some of us continued on a little ways past the site I'd camped last year to the end of the trail. We saw lots of ripe blackberries, especially around where we camped. And the white rhododendron were still blooming in a few places shown here.
Here's our water source, very tiny creek. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at least streams of water coming down. And I finally got it set so that 3 of them almost are going into my water bottle, so it filled it fairly quickly, and I filled the other containers from that. After getting water, I continued on what's an old road, but now it's a trail, I guess. And right here is where it ends. It runs into that rock wall there. And actually there's a nice campsite, 1 tent, probably, with a fire ring here. And beyond this, although on the map it shows a trail going on, you can see it's pretty dense. And unlikely anybody would want to hike on beyond this. Well, the wind, it's cooled off a lot. It was in the 70s and now it's heading for the 60s, I guess. And we're cooking dinner and have a friendly guest there.
Here are some photographs of our group cooking dinner. First, Russ Gillenwater. We had a perfect spot, a grassy area overlooking much of the Crest zone. And then Lisa Sumter and Tommy Pritchard, our resident ninja. And finally, myself.
Well, it started raining around 3 o'clock. It's now a little after 7 and still raining. I think we're going to wait a little while because the forecast shows it's stopping sometime this morning. I'm trying to check on my Garmin to see when it's actually going to stop raining. There's a big slug on my tent netting. It's definitely a foggy and rainy morning out there. So, I'm cooking in the tent. Orange juice, hot water going for hot chocolate, and oatmeal with added pecans and raisins. And you can hear the rain still popping on the tent. I'm semi-packed up, got my sleeping bag and pad in the tent and dirty clothes. But hopefully this will stop before we leave. We said we could leave around as late as 9 or 10 o'clock certainly. Well, it's now 8:30, and still you can hear the rain peppering down, not as hard, so hopefully it's beginning to stop. I'm pretty much packed up, just had breakfast, drinking my cocoa, and hopefully it'll quit so we can walk out dry. May have to walk out in the rain though, we'll see.
Well, clear.
So did y'all get wet over here?
Now.
Yeah. Did y'all just get up?
Oh gosh, no, look.
We've been up for a while.
Okay, you been out in the rain?
Off and on.
Really?
When it's not been raining.
Yeah, it's not been raining. Then
Right.
I crawl back in the tent.
Right. Well, it's still raining at 9:15, so I think we've all decided to pack up in the rain and take off. Russ says it may not end until 7 based on his weather forecast. Mine showed 9, but it certainly hadn't ended at 9, so I'm going to pack up my camera and go. And by the way, I'm standing under a hawthorn tree that has these incredibly sharp needles, thorns. So you have to be careful.
The rain kept coming down, and it didn't appear to be about to stop anytime soon. And so we packed up and headed out. This is a GPS track of our route out in the rain all the way.